All right, welcome in. Cozy Saturday. Here as I make my way toward Philadelphia. Fought through the airport delay yesterday. I'm going to make it in time. Knock on wood. It's going to be good. Anyway, 49ers Eagles matchup preview is ready. Our prediction is going to be coming in a little bit. Margot is going to be joining in for the prediction. So why don't you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell right now so you are live for the big 49ers Eagles prediction, which will feature Lombardi herself. And why don't you check out The Athletic right now? You can read what to expect in this NFC Championship game rematch. I teamed up with one of our Eagles writers, Brooks Kubena, to write a little back and forth. And it looks like Jimmy, my editor, did a really good job putting Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts in the graphic. That looks nice, side by side. Two good quarterbacks going at it tomorrow in the city of brotherly love. Speaking of brotherly love, A.J. Brown and Deebo Samuel seem to have a little bit of that. Listen to the Eagles star wide receiver defend the 49ers star wideout, who's obviously been talking a lot of crap. Deebo Samuel has been. He called James Bradbury, the Philadelphia cornerback, trash, doubled down on it. Then he said he didn't regret it. Well, listen to A.J. Brown explain Deebo Samuel.
I think Debo means any harm, like, but I just think that's just him. He's just having fun, And I don't think it's just a shot at Bradbury, like personally. Like he's just talking. That's just how he talks all the time. So, he's a big kid. Put it right.
Deebo's a big kid. That's just how he talks. I think that Deebo Samuel, and Matt Barrows wrote about it today. He's a marked man entering Philadelphia tomorrow, but that's exactly how Deebo likes it. You have to understand how professional athletes work. Every single one of these players was one of the best players on their college team, to give you an idea of the level that these games are being played at. Then when you have the very highest level NFL game, or even the lowest level NFL game has got high level athletes, but when you have the very highest level NFL game, which I think might be 49ers, Eagles, you got to have, you got to be ready. You got to be ready to put on your big boy pants to get that edge. And to get the edge against the very best athletes in the world, different players are going to use different tactics. Richard Sherman would make up slights in his head. Remember when he said that Baker Mayfield wouldn't shake his hand, even though Baker Mayfield did shake his hand? Richard Sherman fooled himself into believing that Baker Mayfield didn't shake his hand so that he could get to that next level of motivation to dominate a football game, which is a chaotically physical affair where guys literally have to put their lives on the line. I mean, they're car accidents. They're little mini car accidents happening at all times on the field, especially when a receiver is running across the middle. Anyway, I think Deebo Samuel's way of getting motivated is to push the chips in, increase the stakes a little bit, call a guy trash, get ready for that rematch so you can then have the deadline pressure facing you of having to put your money where your mouth is. So Deebo Samuel likes being a marked man. That's just the way that he wires himself. And I think that a lot of people who aren't professional athletes wouldn't understand this, right? I think that you have to study how these guys operate. You have to talk to these guys to really get how they tick. But then you also see that it's a brotherhood. It's a camaraderie. When you take a look at A.J. Brown, I mean, he's just happy. He's smiling. He and Deebo Samuel are close.
Harm, like, but I just think that's just him. He's just having fun, And I don't think it's just a shot at Bradbury, like personally. Like he's just talking. That's just how he talks all the time. So, he's a big kid. Put it right.
It is a fraternity amongst these NFL players. Even Bradbury was like, yeah, whatever. I wish he wouldn't have said that word, but I get it. It's part of the deal. It is part of the deal. Fans take this stuff a lot more personally than the players do. The players are using this to get motivated, to get that little extra percentage of motivation so they can be ready to go and perform at the highest levels in the world. Now, speaking of some of the gamesmanship and pregame talk, Jalen Carter might have challenged the 49ers offensive line. Here's the rookie Eagles defensive tackle.
Look good.
This Niners offense, obviously very formidable, starts with Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. Obviously, they got a lot of guys, George Kittle. Like, how much do you guys concentrate on any one player in this offense?
I don't know. They got a lot of weapons out there on the, on the outside, but, I'm in the inside. I'm in the trenches, so, I ain't hear nothing about the O-line.
Woo! And that, to me, he's got a point. 49ers have a ton of skill position weapons, but their weakness as a football team is the offensive line. It's undeniable, especially the right side of that offensive line, and the interior has been shaky. Center and right guard especially. I think we're going to see a platoon of Feliciano and Burford. I think that's what practice this week indicated. We will see if the 49ers do indeed employ the same strategy they did last season when they had Daniel Brunskill and Spencer Burford flipping out at right guard. They were, switching back and forth, and it kept that right guard position fresher than the other positions. And you had to do that because the talent at right guard was worse than elsewhere. This year, I think the 49ers do have talent deficiencies at right guard and at right tackle. So how are they going to work around those against this Philadelphia team? Jalen Carter, though, that point is extremely salient. You've got McCaffrey, you've got Kittle, you've got Deebo Samuel, you have Brandon Ayuk. Hell, you've got Kyle Juszczyk, if you want him, Jawan Jennings. There's a lot of weapons on the outside of this 49ers offense. But if you can't hold serve up front against the good Eagles defensive line that obviously features Jalen Carter, you're going to have some trouble if you're the 49ers. And he says, I've heard a lot about those skill position weapons elsewhere. I haven't heard much about their O-line. It's because the 49ers O-line hasn't performed as a top shelf unit. They got a top shelf player on the left side in Aaron Banks. But as far as top shelf unit, well, the 49ers still have much to establish in that regard. And, this is a proving grounds for both sides of the line of scrimmage. Speaking of Jalen Carter, this is the man that he replaced. That's Javon Hargrave of the 49ers. The former Eagle defensive tackle has defected to San Francisco. He'll be on the other side of the ball. So you can read about Javon Hargrave's return to Philadelphia. His best quote, "We can talk after the game." He's not really responding to a lot of the messages from the Eagles players talking some crap this week. Javon Hargrave is deciding to keep it quiet. He's one of the more silent guys on the team. He's got a quieter disposition. But Javon Hargrave has been playing good football. That's going to be a test against the Eagles' offensive line. And then the other side of the football, obviously, is going to be huge. The 49ers are going to have to try to block Jalen Carter, who points out that he hasn't heard all too much about the 49ers offensive line. Anyway, the preview that came out today and is in the comment section, or the description, I guess I should say. I could toss it in the comment section so it's there too, is this one. And you're going to want to read it because it's written from both sides of this. Our Eagles writer and I both contributed to it. And then we have that nice little dual photo of Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts. So go ahead and subscribe to The Athletic. Check this out. To give you an idea of how today's going to work, in just a little bit, we should have roster moves made by both of these football teams. So I will go over those in an update. So hit that notification bell for that final 49ers Eagles update. And then the prediction with Mrs. Lombardi herself, as we call her. Margot is going to be in about an hour. So stay tuned for that as well. 49ers Eagles prediction. All right, everybody, take care. Thank you for joining. We will see you very soon.